practice of presence, and that is what inspires me onto the mat today. It's going to be a brief practice. We will see what it feels like to be in the shape of Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog, and then we'll do a few things to loosen up the body in particular areas to revisit that shape and see if we've been able to liberate, to release, and to discover more space within. So without any further ado, a blanket is highly recommended for a little bit of Shavasana afterwards. Outside of that, you may not need any props at all today, so just keeping it simple. So let's go ahead and come into that shape or a variation of it, right? So maybe it's bent legs, maybe it's even Balasana with extended arms. So whatever it is, it's the shape that you want to visit again at the end of your practice, but something in the direction of Adho Mukha Svanasana, yeah? Where you are stable through the limbs, in this case your hands and your feet, and you are encouraging that higher part of the body, now here being the hips, to lift up. Avoid moving about too much right now because you're really just looking to do a check-in. What's going on in the area of the shoulders, the neck? Is there tension there? Are you dumping into that area? What's going on in your legs, your hips? Are they tight? Are you closing in or just feeling weighty on the pose? Where is there freedom? Where is there space in your body right now? Look for that. And where is there lack of awareness? What part of the body are you totally, completely checking out, forgetting about right now? Just observing how you are occupying this shape. Stay in it a little longer if you like, or just come into a variation that feels more appropriate at this time. You're probably just starting out, the body's stiff, right? The body likes to be taken care of, to release that stiffness, and this is the way to do it. Or one of the ways to do it for sure, a really effective way to do it. So honor it. If you need to modify. But just tune in, check in. Where am I in this body? How is this body feeling in this shape right now? How much am I aware? What's contracting? And when you've done when you're satisfied with your investigation, go ahead and bend your knees, come on down, roll around. We're going to move into the back. So start on your knees here. Place your hands to the base of the skull, and then as you do, clasp the hands quite well, because we're going to use the hands here as a support, as like a hammock of sorts for the neck. So you want them to be really nice and stable. And then roll on down one vertebrae at a time until you come on here. And then from here again, use the arms. Ideally, bring the elbows in towards one another. That will help you lift and use more of the strength in your arms to truly release the neck from the head. Let that release, because the head is weighty and it's weighing down on you, on your neck, on your shoulders all day long. And then how can you invite prana and feel inspired when that channel, when that bridge between your heart and your head is blocked, right? So continue to lengthen in this way. Take a nice deep breath in into your upper trapezius area, the upper thoracic spine, the collarbones even. And then on the next out breath, rotate the upper torso to your right. And then as you do, bring your elbows out a little bit further. And on the next in-breath, breathe into those left ribs, the back of the left shoulder, Breathe into that. And then on the next out breath, twist a little bit further. And then again, breathe in, flaring out those ribs on the left. Breathing into the backs of the lung on the left side. Keep that breath in as you come on down. Don't release the hands all together, but let the elbows rest. And just notice the activity on that left side. Notice if it's more in touch with the earth. If there's more sensation there. With practice, we get to that place really rather quickly, right? Just 1-2 breaths like we just did is enough to invoke presence in certain areas of the body that didn't have it before. But like anything else, it's a process. So be patient, keep practicing. Or don't be patient, but keep practicing anyway. Go ahead and come on up. So again, the hand, the arms serving as a hammock of sorts to really lift the head off of your neck. Releasing the shoulders as well. You want to spread out through the lumbar spine here also. So let the sacrum spread onto the ground, the lumbar spine spread. So feel grounded in this place. And then on the next out breath, rotate the torso to the left. And then inhale the right side of the ribs, the right upper ribs in particular. The back lung on the right side, breathe in. Exhale, twist a little further. Keep the right hip down though as you twist. And then inhale, expand into the back rib more. Continue with that in-breath as you bring it back down. And now go ahead and release the hands all together and just notice the ground beneath you. Notice that support. Having brought some release to the upper neck, we're now going to move to the lower limbs. We're going to loosen up the knee joints. So just starting with the right leg, let's pedal that right leg up and down a little bit. You may hear some crackling. Body's grateful to get lubricated, right? And nothing like a gentle joint release such as this to lubricate the joint. And then go ahead and do the other side, or stay longer. Stay as long as you like for any of this, of course. I'm just giving you a little touch to encourage you to do a practice, even if it's brief. Yeah? And then here, you may want to take the hands to the base of the spine to encourage, again, that sacrum to spread more, the lumbar spine to spread more. And then let's just alternate legs in that pedaling motion. Right away, you may find that the lumbar spine begins to come off the ground, so you may want to tilt a little bit more. Or you may find that you actually don't need the hands there at all. You can just bring your arms to the side. Or you may find that it's more appropriate for you at this time for whatever reason. You never need a real reason other than to feel that the body doesn't want to do this, to go back to the previous one, like just one leg at a time, yeah? Still getting the benefits. And of course, if you have a bicycle, adjust your bicycle so that the seat allows you to be somewhere like here, right, where the bottom leg of the pedal is straight. Let's go ahead and do that on the other side. Bottom leg is straight, and then the top leg is bent, yeah? So you're not here. You really want to give the knees all the support that you can while riding. And then for the ultimate practice of presence, one that's really, truly fulfilling, consider a bike that takes you into the woods. You can be receiving the aerosol of the trees or the mountains, depending on where you are. you've had enough here, just really waking up to the center of the body, you can go ahead and bring it down, roll onto the side. And let's come into Malasana. Let's take a squat. Now the squat may not be appropriate for your knees, in which case I would say more bicycling. but in this moment you can just lie down and bring the legs out to the side like this. So you're in a supine position with the hugging the legs in towards you. So of course your feet would be off the ground. So that's a wonderful way to kind of get the sensation of dropping through the area of the pelvis and allowing the torso to lift and lengthen from that. So good for the organs. Yeah. And whether you are lying down right now or sitting like this, go ahead and round the spine between the legs. Walk the hands out to one side. Walk the hands out to the other side. Maybe walk the hands out to the first side again, and this time really lift the side of the torso that is touching the inner part of that groin and lift it up and away from it. So right now for me it's the right side. I'm lifting the right waistline off of the right thigh. And then the same thing on the other side. Use the hands and support of the hands to push down and lift off of it. Lift up, and lift up. And maybe encourage that outer glute to push out more so you can lift and lengthen even further. And then coming back to center, let's go ahead and loosen up the shoulder joints a little bit, because like the knees, they get really taxed, right? In this forward motion that there's so much of our lives are in. So clasping the hands as we did earlier, but this time take it right up above the head and lift up and bring it down. And lift up and bring it down. Now as you lift up, imagine that you're lifting the top of the head with you and back down. As you lift up, it's not just the top of the head that's coming up, but think of yourself lifting up from the low belly, from the base of the spine and down. And you can speed it up a bit. This is a simple motion. If you can't quite make it directly up over the head, just go to where you can. Maybe you just go straight forward, that's all right too. But if it's available to you to reach up and over the head, that's a really good idea. And of course you can do this lying down as well. Breathe. And another thing that you can do for your squat is to use a block or even your blanket to sit on, yeah? And provided that doesn't make any part of your joints to scream or be upset, then that's a good place to go into. So let's now go ahead and face the long way of the mat. Take our legs out to Prasarita Padottanasana, the feet pointing out, fingertips on the ground, and then lengthen the torso out of the pelvic floor once more. So almost like a little back bend here. Broadening through the collarbones, engaging through the tops of the thighs, rooting down through the inner heels. And before we go into the full pose, let's play around a little bit, yeah? Let's take one of the knees, let's bend it. You and I may be with different rights and lefts if you're looking straight ahead at the camera. So one leg is bent. The arms move on over in the direction of the straight leg. And then consider also, like we did before, picking up the torso and moving in the direction of that straight leg as well. This will really give you a lot more access, not only to breathe the side ribs into the lower lobes of your lungs, but also give you more space so that the internal organs can be freed up. And then walk your hands over to that bent leg as you bend the opposite leg and straighten that one. So again, the torso and the arms are moving over the straight leg while the opposite leg is bending. Keep going. Notice if you can pick up the torso and send it in direction of the straight leg once more. Release the head. And then from here, bending that front leg again, the other leg once more. Bring that back knee down. And place your hands on your thigh. So now the placing of the hands on the thigh is just a little reminder to bring your attention down to that which supports you. Right? And the quadricep muscles, these are big, big muscles, the longest bone in the body. So as we encourage it to move down, you can stabilize more. And the more stable we are, and we can become a little bit more buoyant and fuller. So place your hands now to the low of the spine, right, the area of the kidney, and see if you can breathe into that area. Become a little bit more buoyant into that area. Continue to ground, buoyant in the back, and then reach up and take just a slight little back bend. There's not much back bending in the shape that we chose for today, downward facing dog. But you do want to experience that freedom. The heart expanding out through the arms. And then from here, walk that front foot in, bring that knee down, and lower the torso down. Now this is another one where the knees may not be happy about it, or the lumbar may not be happy about it, so you modify. You flipped yourself back on into a supine position, and you just bring that top leg across your chest. Yeah? So the idea here is to broaden through the hips. So encourage the hip of that bent leg to broaden more outwardly. And then once you've done that, come on up slightly in the torso. If this doesn't feel comfortable, go back down. Take the same arm of the bent leg right to the center, and then the opposite hand, turn it up and over so that the thumb is pointing down, and work that inner groin, or encourage that inner groin to lift up as the outer hip moves down. And you can just stay right here. This is wonderful, but maybe if it's available to you, catch a hold of the ankle as you bend the leg. And then an opportunity to broaden through the shoulder, to lift up through the torso. And again, to discover more space through the restriction of the pushing with the ankle, pulling with the hand, rooting through the earth to feel more freedom through the spine. But be remembering the buoyancy here on the lumbar as well. And then releasing that gently. And now here, coming up on that front leg, straightening out the back leg as we did lying down, or sitting down, I should say. The heel comes down. So now you have this Virabhadrasana 2 shape for the legs. And let's go ahead and bring the torso into a Adho Mukha Svanasana shape. So from the waist, from the hips up to your fingertips, it's downward facing dog. And from the waist to your feet, it's warrior 2. Breathe. And breathe. And breathe. As you're ready, walk your hands in. Turn that front foot in. Bring both arms towards the straight leg as we did earlier in transition. But not just the arms, bring the torso as well. And then walk your hands over towards the bent leg and switch. Bending the opposite leg and lengthening the torso in the direction of the straight leg. Maybe you can bend a little bit lower, maybe not so low. The idea here is that the legs remain engaged, so you're really pressing down into the ground. The straight leg, the top of that straight leg is really engaged. Nice, just breathe into that. And then coming back to that second side, we're going to kneel down with the back leg. Place our hands on the top front thigh and root down. Find that stability, that support. Allow ourselves to bring more prana, more life force into the areas that are sometimes neglected, back body in this case. And then from there, keeping all of that, free yourselves up a little bit to lift, to lengthen, to open. And then from here, as we did before, walk that foot to the edge of the mat, drop the knee down, and stretch the leg back. And maybe you did just fine with this on the other side, but the side needs something different. So again, roll on over, lie on your back, bring that leg across, and just allow yourself to observe where you can bring a little bit more freedom through your breath. That's how. So here again, encouraging that hip of the bent leg to broaden a little bit more away from the midline. Lower yourself all the way down if it feels appropriate, even if for just a moment. Keeping that back leg engaged. And then slowly coming back up. Hand of the front leg goes right in the center. Opposite hand, thumb comes up. Encourage that inner groin to lift up. Just staying here is wonderful. Maybe bend that back leg if it feels okay on your joints. And you can catch the ankle, then there you go. Pull back, pull in, and through that resistance, allow yourselves to lift up to the degree that you can, not more, not less. You're not yanking on your shoulder or anything else. You're just using that support that's there for you. Maybe it's just the ground in this case, to lengthen the spine, to open the spine. And then very slowly find your way back down. Once more, we're going to come into that warrior stance for the legs. So Virabhadrasana 2 for the legs. And Adho Mukha Svanasana for the arms. Rooting down through the legs strongly and then lengthening out through the torso. You're decompressing the spine here. Breathe. And this is where you may choose to take a child's pose for a moment or two, or maybe just dance between those, the bending of the leg and straightening of the leg once more, turning the toe in first. And here, walking the hands over towards the straight leg. Allowing the leg to initiate the movement for this one with just being one breath at a time, walking the hand over, arms, torso, and then again the leg initiating the movement for this time around, and then bringing the arms and the torso in the other direction. And again the leg initiating the movement and bringing the arms out and over to the other side. Surely feel free to do this several more times if it's there for you, but we're going to finish up the pose that we started here. So from this halfway point, we are going to lower the head all the way down and then take the hands and bring them back between the legs, between the feet, I should say, or maybe even further back if it's there for us. Again, we're not forcing anything, but we are encouraging the inner groins to lengthen all the way down into the inner heels and beyond into the earth. We're encouraging those outer heels to lift up into the upper outer hips. We're encouraging the tops of the thighs to move back. And we're encouraging the top of the head to drop. And then from the top of the head, you root all the way down to the center of the earth. So let this be your inversion for practice here. And if you're still in Balasana, just taking it easy. You're taking care of yourself, and I support you 100% in that. And then from here, when you're done, come on up. Come into kneeling now. And we're going to do a slight variation of Gomukhasana, but really for the purposes of liberating the calf muscles. Because when the calf muscles are liberated, the whole back body is released. Yeah? And we have a lot more freedom, especially in a pose such as downward facing dog. So just locate your left shin. Let's all do the same side now. Take it up over the right calf. Bring the right toes down and just massage it. That's it, massage it. And if it's not okay for you to be on your knees, then just sitting down and massaging the calf with your hands, yeah? If there's some oil available, even better. Maybe you can take a little bit more pressure, continue to massage it, and maybe you can really allow the top of the shin of the other leg to just help that calf muscle to release. It may be too much. If it's too much, it's too much. Yeah? But if you can tolerate that for a moment, do. If you can still breathe and be at ease, even though the sensation is a bit intense, then okay. And if you've had enough, maybe you still want to do a little bit more massaging, by all means, just go move your foot back and forth like this. I can't emphasize enough of how essential it is to liberate tension from the calf muscles. Practice it for yourself and you will know what I mean. Then the opposite leg. The right shin this time goes onto the calf. You massage it. Or again, just sitting down, massaging with your hands. And maybe going halfway with the weight of the body, something like here. Maybe that's good enough for you, yeah? Maybe you can just pause, maybe halfway through in the medius part of the calf and lower the torso all the way down. Maybe. Maybe one side is a lot more sensitive than the other. Just be with it, wherever it is, wherever you are. So important to differentiate that place between where you can stretch a little further, where the body is willing and ready to open, that place where it just doesn't feel safe and it's not appropriate, and it will rebel. Yeah, so we keep investigating with a curious and that childlike attitude. And then from here, we're ready to explore that first pose once more, and hopefully you will find a little bit more space now, a little bit more freedom. Maybe you find that your upper neck is has released a bit and there's more awareness there in that area. You find that the little work that we did on the shoulder allows you to feel more supported, not dumping into the upper arms. You find that the work that we did with the legs also allows you to use more of the strength that's already there, to then in turn liberate the spine a little bit further. But investigate that for yourself. You did some work to breathe into the back body. Notice if it's more accessible now. You did some work to liberate the hips. Notice if that allows you to lift more. Lift those hips up higher, and in turn let the head release further into the ground. Here too, you can let the head drop, maybe really close to the ground, or maybe even all the way to the ground. And once more, you can root the crown of the head all the way to the center of the earth. My goodness, what about that? Does that change perspectives or what? And of course, the work that you did on your calves, liberating the whole back body all the way up to the forehead. Surely stay here longer if you like. Surely modify it if you don't like. Balasana is wonderful. Hands and knees is also fine. Whatever you are, honor that. And if you're ready to come on down, please do. I like to make these sessions brief so that they are more accessible to you in terms of time. Right? If we say we need a full hour to practice, it may not happen. But if we need less, but if we have less than 30 minutes and we can give ourselves the opportunity to come into that place of presence, that place from which we can be of service, touch our most real, most authentic aspect of ourselves, and we can be more fulfilled throughout our day. Why would we not choose that? So we rearrange our priorities a little bit to weave in those 30 minutes or so here and there. That's my offer to you anyhow with these mini practices. So here, provided you have a little bit more time, the body, the nervous system is so ready to receive a deeper release of Shavasana, of full, complete relaxation, of really not having to do anything at all. So my request is that you always have a blanket for the head. It's really wonderful to have the neck and the head supported in order to really go into a more relaxed place. So bend the legs, bring the hands out by the hips, come down into your forearms one at a time. And then here, pick up the legs, pick up the hips, release the lumbar spine, and then slowly bring yourselves down. And then adjust the pillow just so that it supports the entire neck. Again, that reminder of the work of the hammock to really release the head off of the neck. And then bringing the arms out to the sides, give your armpits a little bit of space. And you could just stay here with your legs bent. Maybe lower one leg one at a time to keep that length. You may need to adjust the shoulders a little bit once you straighten the legs. I often do. It's worth it. And then let go. Let go. Feel the support of the earth. Give your troubles to it. Give your weight to it. Surrender. Oh, those tiny little muscles inside the eyes that work so hard all the time. When needed and when not needed, let them go. All that activity in the frontal lobe of the brain. Again, really push when needed and when not needed. Give it a chance to release. Drop all that activity to the back of the head and the support you've given it. And I invite you to continue to scan the body in this way, in your own way. And stay for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. If you can splurge a little longer, you'll be well worth it. Well worth it. Otherwise, if it's time for you to get up and bend the legs, roll the torso to one side, either side. Take a moment there. And use that top hand to push the earth, to push down, and let the head be the very last thing to come up. The light in me bows to the light in you. Thank you for joining me for practice.